Yes, give me just a minute. I am texting someone that is trying the live to let me know if it is going.
Okay. Just let me know. Couple of these.
Yeah.
What?
Looks like it's working up there.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that cool though?
I noticed it.
Oh, that's iPad.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool.
That's the
Right, yours.
reference.
I feel like now.
Okay, it is working, so we are good.
Okay.
It's got it. I didn't-
Welcome, everybody. It is July 21st, 7 PM. And I would welcome to the Delta City Council. I would like all of you to join us in honoring this country for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Okay. Jolene, do we have any, I'm going to make one change to the agenda. We are going to hear item H immediately following the consent agenda. Are there any other changes tonight?
None.
Thank you. Citizen comments. David Moran.
Good evening, Mayor White, members of the council and staff. My name is David Moran, President of CEO of Energy Field Security based here in Delta at 1410 Valley View Drive. I want to begin by recognizing and supporting the city's recent announcement regarding the Colorado Brownfields partnership of the old municipal light and power building on South Main Street. Turning it into idle industrial site into a productive economic asset is exactly the kind of forward-looking work that Delta needs. We applaud that effort. At the same time, I want to reaffirm a broader vision for how resilient energy infrastructures can strengthen Delta's long-term economic future. Through the Pure Watt project, we are developing modular, EMP, and geomagnetic disturbance hardened microgrids that integrate advanced nuclear technology, hydro resources, storage, and intelligent controls. These systems are designed to serve high-value industrial loads, including manufacturing, critical mineral processing, and other anchors that create lasting local jobs while reducing the strain on the broader grid. We recognize that Delta operates underneath real constraints as a small municipality utility, including the wholesale power arrangements and limited risk tolerance for ratepayers. That is why our approach emphasizes early planning, multiple pathways, and structures that protect the city from unnecessary risk. We see the former coal plant site not as a single project opportunity, but as a transition asset that can support several possible futures depending on what's best serves Delta's long-term interest. We are not asking the city to hand over the site or take on new obligations. We simply ask the council to keep an open mind to a collective process, one that starts with a clear baseline information, evaluates options carefully, and keeps ratepayer protection at the center. We remain ready to share technical information, participate in planning discussions, and explore how these solutions can align with the city's brownfields revitalization goals and overall strategic priorities. Thank you for your time and for your continued leadership. On behalf of Delta, I'm available anytime. You guys got my phone number. If you guys want questions, answers, thoughts,
Thank you, David.
comments, criticisms, you're ugly, go away. You got it.
Sarah Triantos, we are going to wait until your topic comes up. All right, first on our agenda tonight, consent agenda. We have 3 items to consider. Approval of the July 7th, 2026 regular meeting minutes, approval of Second Amendment of the Cunningham Orchard Subdivision Improvements Agreement. That's an extension to the previous agreement. And approval of street closure for our car show, September 11th. We have any questions on any of those three? Can they all three be pushed through as one?
I would move to approve the consent agenda as entered into the record.
I second it.
We have a motion and 2 seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Next item, ordinance number 8, 2026, the first reading for the litter and junk code amendments. Jolene, can you read us the full text of that?
Yes, give me just a second because I was moving it on my minutes. Ordinance number 8, 2026, an ordinance of the City Council of Delta, Colorado, amending Delta Municipal Code Chapters 8.04 and 8.16 regarding noise and litter and junk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So in the packet, there's a red line showing the proposed changes from chapter 8.04 and chapter 816. 804 is noise regulations. That one's really simple. It's simply changing the wording to allow a noise nuisance violation to be filed in any competent court rather than just the district court, meaning staff would have the option to file a noise complaint in municipal court in this room. So just giving us more options, that's pretty straightforward. The bigger issue is 816, which is litter and junk. And so the concept here is to be a little more strict on making sure litter is placed in a trash receptacle, declaring that a nuisance, and then having some exceptions. One particular one having to do with working on motor vehicles. So the proposed compromise there would be, it shall not be a violation to temporarily keep and store one junk motor vehicle at a given time in a driveway on private property, provided that it's covered and screened from view while not being worked upon, and that you get 30 days total per year for that, whether it's one vehicle or 5 vehicles. Then we add some definitions to clarify what junk and trash receptacle means. The whole idea here is to make these regulations easier to understand, easier for the cops to enforce, and then to have those exceptions so we're not going too far.
Thank you, David. So I would invite city council discussion on this item. I will say that this item has been given consideration for a number of months now. We've had some pretty lively discussions in here regarding this ordinance, and we've taken to heart a lot of the comments that were made. And I think I can speak for all of us that our mission was to create an ordinance that addresses the problems, but with enough flexibility that allows the hobbyist to be the hobbyist, but in a manner that doesn't affect both property values and the ability of the neighbors to enjoy their property. So that's my 2 cents introduction.
Aren't we supposed to do public comment first before city council discussion on the agenda?
I'm sorry, my eyes just absolutely switched that, and you are correct. I'll leave the introduction as it is and invite public comment. And I'd like to start with Sarah Triantos since she signed in. Sarah? And Shelby, maybe you can go ahead and sign up on this as well. Come on up and.
And that one's just for the general comments. As long as we get their name for the record, we're good, but.
So you don't have to. I'll call on you. Yeah. I was just gonna make it easier on Jolene.
you're good.
All right, Sarah?
Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah Triantos. I'm at 1795 Pioneer Road. I am your favorite pain when it comes to the junk ordinance. Just want to tell you, I truly appreciate all the hard work that you've put into revising this ordinance, taking all of our concerns into consideration. I did notice while reading the revised code that allowances have been made for salvage operations, and those haven't changed from the existing code. And I appreciate that those have remained. I would ask you to consider similar exemptions for a few other legitimate businesses. The definition of a junk vehicle includes vehicles that are not registered or not licensed. I believe there should be an exemption from those portions of the definition for licensed automobile dealerships, mechanic shops, tow yards, long-term vehicle storage facilities, and RV parks. Vehicles in these settings are often intentionally unregistered or unlicensed as part of normal business operations and should not be automatically considered junk. Technically, under this definition, every brand-new vehicle at the Ford dealership is out of compliance. This issue also affects some of our most vulnerable residents. Many people living in RV parks rely on RVs and vehicles as their primary housing. A strict interpretation of this definition could place them at risk of losing their housing and potentially contributing to homelessness. I recognize this concern may seem hypothetical given our current code enforcement division, and I agree with that. My interactions with code has been nothing but professional and fair and reasonable. My concern is not with the people currently enforcing this ordinance, but with the ordinance itself. As you've experienced firsthand, revising the city code is a lengthy and difficult process. The people enforcing these regulations will change over time, and future code enforcement officials may not interpret the ordinance with the same fairness or intent. I believe the code should be written in a way that protects both businesses and residents, regardless of who's responsible for enforcing it. For that reason, I ask the council to amend the ordinance by adding exemptions for licensed automobile dealerships, mechanic shops, tow yards, long-term vehicle storage facilities, and RV parks to the not registered and not licensed portions of the junk vehicle definition. Thanks.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, Shelby, you want to come up?
Good evening, my name is Clint Selby, and I read the new ordinance in the other room. I actually had some questions if I can ask them. The thing didn't state it was 30 days for a year. So I've only got 30 days. I've got 1 month out of 12 to have a car in front of the garage. I can't work on one, put it back, and then my son who lives with me bring one out and
We're going to accrue some of those questions, Shelby or Cliff.
Mhm.
Sorry, I call you by your last name and
You're good.
somewhere along the line, you got introduced that way. So it planted in my brain and
Okay.
it's not very functional.
I've been, my name's Clint, just like Eastwood, only better.
Okay, okay. Very good. You have other questions? Because I think what I'd like to do is note those. And then in our discussion, we can engage Dave and go through all of your questions along with our discussion.
Okay.
Sound fair?
I mean, that's just, I mean, I fully, and I do appreciate what you guys have done, making it where, you know, we could pull one out, do some stuff on it, get that done, put it back, gather up, you know, more parts and then bring it back out. But if I've only got 30 days in an entire year, yeah, I'm gonna be a lawbreaker. It's just, I'm doing more than that in a year. We've got more stuff to do than that. So that was my main,
Okay.
I mean, I understand the not long-term, don't leave it out there all the time, but to not have, you know, we're working right now on 3 weeks on putting a motor in. But like I told you earlier, you know, this year I turned 50. My nights and weekends ain't quite what they used to be. I can't really But 30 days, I get, now, I could do something in a month, put that one back, and then he might bring his out and have the motor ready for it. Do something with it, transmission, interior. You know, but just having 30 days is,
Just footnote, I think that was the amount of time in front as you were working on a
Right,
specific
but
task.
the way he stated it, he said that you had 30 days in 1 year, be it 1 car or 5. So out of 1 year's time, I've got 30 days to work on 8 cars.
In your driveway in the front of your house.
Yeah, that's
If
what I'm
you're
saying.
screened in the backyard and you got a concrete
But that's
pad, you
just
do
in
whatever you want.
storage while we're collecting parts for it.
Mhm.
But to bring one out and work on it, well, we both work on them, I mean, simultaneously. And not, you know, he works on his stuff, I work on my stuff, but we'll work on one of my cars for a little bit. And right now we've got his wife's car in front of the garage. We're doing all kinds of stuff too.
I've got to move to another speaker, Clint,
Okay.
but we're going to take that question and process
If
it
it
here
makes sense.
in, yeah,
Okay.
it does. Thank you. Gerald?
Council, Gerald Roberts, 1962 Columbine Court, Colorado. Mr. Mayor, in your introduction, I believe you used the word hobby. And I don't know how you were referring to that, but I just want to simply say you need to be very careful with that word hobby. And I think you know what I'm referring to. And I thank you very much for thinking about it.
Thank you, Gerald. And I think I used that very carefully. Maybe just a footnote on that, the ordinance was not intended to make residential parcels commercial use. Okay, with that, we have heard public comment. We'll move to the city council discussion. And Dave, can I sort of leverage on you to, since you authored this 30-day issue we'll talk about a couple of things because I think Sarah brought up some interesting points about other uses, but I believe all of those other uses were business uses. And I think the terms for those business uses are already distinct.
So we do have an express exception for wrecking yard, salvage yard, and junkyard if you have a permit. I understand the comment and the concern. I think it's covered by the definition of junk vehicle means any motor vehicle or RV that cannot be legally driven on public streets because it's dismantled, wrecked, abandoned, not registered, not licensed, or not operable. If you're a new car dealer, you have a temporary plate, you can legally drive that car on a public street. So I don't think that would apply.
The ones that are
But
working on are behind a fence.
But I do understand the concern that I'm gonna be dead someday and maybe somebody else will be reading this and maybe we should be a little more clear, but I think we're covered, but you know, it's a valid comment.
It's still complaint driven, correct? So someone would have to
Sure.
call and make a complaint about a licensed automobile dealer having cars in their parking lot.
Or on the street.
Right.
And I think RV parks require that they're licensed to be in their RV park most of the time.
Yeah, and we have a whole separate set of regulations about RV parks, so I think this is covered by other sections in the code, but yeah. You know, somebody else asked me a question earlier that's like, well, there's a loophole that I hadn't thought of, so there's always something, but
Okay.
I think we're good, but if that, you know, if somebody is enforced a contrary way that we didn't intend, we could always amend it, but
Okay.
I think that concern's already addressed. I hope.
It's a valid point, though.
This is the first reading, so we can take a second look at that and determine
Yeah.
between now and the second reading if we need to clarify.
Sure, and then on the 30 days, that's gentleman is correct. It's, the compromise was to say you can have the car in front of your house there in the driveway for 30 days in a calendar year. And if you need more than that, maybe you should build a garage, but that's a policy decision for all of you. That's just the way we wrote it.
I agree with the 30 days as is, honestly. Because this was meant to find a compromise for the people who are wanting to work on their cars. And then for people who live in a neighborhood and don't want to see that as part of their daily view. So it was not meant to give one side or the other full autonomy. It was meant to find a compromise that would allow for both people to be able to enjoy the property as they wish. So.
It's, again, it's complaint driven. And if you pull that car in front of the garage and pull the motor and then put the vehicle back behind the fence, work on the motor, it may have taken you 2 or 3 days to get the motor out of it. And then when you get that ready, you bring it back and take another 3 or 4 days to put it back in. You can look at it that way, Clint, and I guess that's what I'm offering just as a perspective, because it can go back and forth.
Well, and it sounds like for you, Clint, you are trying to be compliant. This code and this ordinance is meant for all the citizens, and not everyone is trying to be compliant. And other people have neighbors that aren't even close to compliant on this. So trying to find a middle ground for everyone.
I also support leaving the 30 days as it is. You can always put the car in the backyard, you can put it in the garage. I think longer than that, it becomes a salvage yard, which would require certain zoning and permitting. So I'm good with it as is.
And it sounded like if there's another car that's pulled in, if it pulled in, it was probably licensed. So if it's even there for 30 days, it's probably coming back out.
Agree. Janet, you just said something that I think is really important, and I want to make sure it's clear, because what we're not doing is taking residential zonings and allowing salvage yard use. That's still, there's a permit process that you can go through. So Sarah, consider this, that I'm just going to look at it holistically. If you've got that operation, and let's say the earth images are roughly accurate and you've got 60 cars in your backyard, it might be, it probably is more appropriate to come in, talk to Joe, and get on our docket, get on the planning commission's docket for a permit or a zoning change. And if everybody around you, I'm not really inviting more public comment right now, but if everybody around you is in agreement, then that's a simple process. If they're not, you're going to find out whether that operation is affecting the use of their property. So I think that's an important distinction.
Anything about business use or residential use. And so I took it to mean blanket.
She needs to get up to the
So
podium if you want to allow comment.
if you're going to, go ahead and take the podium.
I read the code. The code didn't differentiate between business usage and residential. And so I took it to mean everybody in the city is applied the same usage of the code or the same reading of the code. So if that is the case, then my car dealership is out of compliance, whether or not I have a dealer plate on it, because I don't have 10 dealer plates or 25 dealer plates to cover every vehicle that is on my lot.
So I would say a vehicle for sale that's operable isn't a junk vehicle under this definition.
Okay,
I mean, that's
That's all. I'm just-
that's the intent.
I'm just asking for
yeah.
written clarification because you guys are great, code is great. I don't know what future looks like. Nobody
So-
does.
I mean, that's fair.
I do think she makes a fair point, and if you look at item 3 under A, the property, it's exempt if the property is an automobile wrecking yard, a salvage yard, a junk yard, subject to conditional use permit. Could we not insert vehicle sales or whatever the
Retail,
retail business, something like that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Approved commercial uses, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
And I think that what that does is requires you, if you don't have that zoning and if you don't have that permit, then you have to go through that process.
But we can insert that
Yeah.
just to clarify.
I like that. I think Elise had a good suggestion on
Thank you, Sarah.
approved commercial uses. And then to Dan's point too, if it's not a junk vehicle, it's okay. So I mean, if it
Yeah.
runs, you can change your tires, you can
Yeah.
change the oil, you can wash your car in your driveway. That's not junk.
Agree with at least the approved commercial purposes. That covers everything. You don't have to worry about missing something.
Great.
Good. Okay, then going next to Clint's question on the 30 days. I think we've covered that when Clinton was up there, but I just want to make sure that we're not needing to retouch any of that language.
I would motion to approve ordinance number 8, 2026 litter and junk code amendments, adding in the commercial uses that Janet and Elise suggested. Prior to second reading. Thank you.
Second?
Second.
Can we roll call this, Jolene?
Yes. I'm sorry, so I'm just typing all that in. Mr. Corthius. Ms. Rowland,
Aye.
Mr. Huff,
Aye.
Ms. Bowers,
Aye.
Mr. White.
Aye. Passes unanimously. First reading. The second reading is, do we have a schedule for this, Elise?
Yeah, it'll be on
Next. reading.
4th.
Second reading will be August 4th. Thank you, everyone, for coming in and participating in the process. All right, next up, approval of historic designation, the intergovernmental agreement with Delta County.
So good evening, council. We discussed this at your work session a couple of weeks ago. This IGA, which is language provided by the state historic, by SHPO. What does SHPO stand for? State Historic Preservation Office. To memorialize what has been our arrangement with the County Historical Board to do historical landmarking in the city. The state would like us to formalize that relationship. It has been informal. We've been involved. We receive notification when applications are submitted and have an opportunity to comment on them. This really doesn't change anything other than memorialize the existing arrangement.
Okay, and I think we talked about this previously.
Mm.
Any public comments on this intergovernmental agreement with the county? Hearing none, we'll go to council discussion. Is there any questions or concerns on this internally?
yeah. What if it's on the historic register? I know you can change the color of the paint, you can change windows and all that. How about if you change the whole thing?
So this does not institute any restrictions. It is a mechanism both for marketing purposes, but also for landowners to access grant and tax credit funding if they're making historical improvements to their property. The only way that there would be restrictions would be if we chose to adopt any kind of historical codes or restrictions. That's done at a local level. We don't have that in place. So this is really more about identifying, documenting our history, and then it opens up opportunity for those property owners that receive designation to pursue financial assistance for improvements to their buildings.
The county actually gets more money than the city does. Why put the two together?
We don't receive any money and the county doesn't receive any money. The only entity or the only people that would potentially be able to tap into grants or tax credits is the property owner themselves.
And I think one of the things that we found when it was a question I asked was, what triggers this? And the property owner actually
Yeah.
needs to bring that forward. So it's purely a decision of the property owner whether to participate or not.
But what if it gets on the register and you buy the property and then you say, I don't want to keep this as a whatever, I'm going to turn it into a casino.
Well, you probably knew it was on the register before you bought it, so.
I don't think that has any impact on it at all. It's still a private property driven
Okay.
utilization. Having that designation doesn't prevent how you use the building or what you do with it. Unless you tap into that funding, then you may face some of those restrictions.
That was the point that Wilma made, was if you tap the funds and then violate the agreement of historic
Yeah.
restoration, then you're paying it back.
Reasons for getting this designation beyond funding is simply that acknowledgement, recognition, documentation of the region's history. So.
You'll also need a Colorado constitutional amendment for it to be a casino. but-
I was waiting for this.
Details.
Plus we'd
in
have
the
to pass
code.
our code permit department and everything else and,
I think that would require coming before council.
Actually, the state.
I have no problem with it, and I'm willing to make a motion if you're ready to entertain one. I move that we approve the historic designation intergovernmental agreement as entered into the record.
second it.
We have a motion and a second. Uh, Given this is just a yay or nay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Hearing none. We'll move to the Masano Boundary Line Adjustment Deviation Request, Resolution number 14 for 2026.
So do you want the title read before? Is that what we decided
Yeah.
in the other? Okay, resolution number 14, 2026, a resolution of the city of Delta, Colorado, approving a deviation from minimum design standards.
Okay.
Good evening, council. I'm Mike Marcus, city planner. So the subject request is for approval of a deviation from the subdivision minimum design standards for lot width debt ratio as set forth in the Delta Municipal Code. The applicants Kelly Smith, Denise Murphy, and Isla Masano have submitted a boundary adjustment application to transfer approximately 0.26 acres from the Masano property to the Smith Murphy property. The Masano property is addressed as 1570 Cherry Lane, and the Smith Murphy property is addressed as 1500 Cherry Lane. Based on review of the deviation criteria and information presented at the July 6th, 2026 Planning Commission public meeting, the Planning Commission recommends that the City Council approve the deviation from the lot depth to lot width ratio requirement of Code Section 16.04.070 E8. So boundary adjustments are reviewed administratively by staff. Deviation requests to the minimum design standards where the review criteria are clearly met may also be approved by staff. However, because boundary adjustments contemplate compliance with minimum design standards as a condition for approval, staff defers the current deviation requests for review by the Planning Commission and City Council. Your staff report includes the criteria to be considered for deviation requests. According to the applicant, the purpose of the proposed boundary adjustment is to provide for a UVWA easement for lateral A. Lateral A is an irrigation ditch at the boundary of the two properties. The deviation as requested will not reduce the cost to the developer, and it will not generate any revenue for the project. The modification will not adversely affect public health, safety, and welfare, as the deviation will take an already non-conforming lot and make it just slightly more non-conforming. In addition to the lot configuration, the minimum design standards requirements for ensuring irrigation ditches and pipelines are appropriately protected and maintained. Staff notes that the alternative design proposed by the applicant accommodates irrigation delivery as stipulated by the UVWUA. At the Planning Commission meeting on July 26, 2026, the commission heard an presentation from the applicant, reviewed the staff report, and they adopted Resolution 8/2026, recommending approval of the request to City Council. The proposed resolution 1426 is included in your packet for consideration. Does anyone have any questions?
I have two. There's, and it's just a footnote that resolution 14 and ordinance number 7 have to be approved together tonight.
One
And
is dependent, or each dependent on.
Each are dependent on each other.
That is correct.
Then my second question is this boundary adjustment that we're contemplating. Just, I believe I know the answer, but it does not change or restrict access to the UVWA irrigation by any rightful shareholder of that
That is
irrigation
correct.
ditch. Okay, thank you.
And I would actually recommend making that explicit under section 2, just to say, or you could say this in the motion, that approval is contingent on the related zoning ordinance becoming effective. I think the other ordinance says that. This one doesn't. I said it and Mike said it. That's the intent, but let's make that item.
Told you that's what I read. Wouldn't believe me. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mike?
Public comment?
Thank you, Mike.
Sure.
And do we have the owners, either party of this agreement? Would you like to make a comment? If you would, please take the podium. State your name and so Jolene can take the record.
Kelly Smith, 1500 Cherry Lane, Delta, Colorado.
Thank you.
And I'd be happy if there are questions, and if you think it would clear things up to make a short presentation, I can do that also.
I think what we have in front of us is pretty clear. I don't have any questions unless somebody else does.
One thing that they thought was significant in the planning commission was that lateral A is not used by my property. In other words, we aren't acquiring this land for some water that is used on my property. It's more to protect the water that goes past my property and is used to the north. There's literally not one drop from that lateral that could be used on my property, actually. It's just transported through my property and it goes to the north for Cherrywood Villas, for example, and then it goes on from there. I don't even know where, but I know it goes on.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's why I asked the question earlier if it affected access to the irrigation ditch, because I know UVWA shares travel with, are deeded with land. So you have a share or you don't. But it sticks with the land. I just didn't want to have something go through that impeded somebody getting to their share. And I think the answer was it doesn't.
Exactly. And this was actually proposed by the Uncompahgre Users Association when I first gave my Cherry Lane Estates presentations.
Okay.
And this is what they actually recommended and requested at that time from our plans. So it was their recommendation originally. And that set into motion this process that I kind of got stuck in. It certainly wasn't my intent or, my original plan.
Well, thank you for persevering and staying in the process and getting it resolved.
Yeah, and I just want to make one comment, just because it might help you to understand the plight of developers a little bit, but anytime you have water on your property now, the Bureau of Reclamation actually owns these waterways now, and the different water users associations, they only maintain them. And so to make any modifications to your property, even if you're not planning to modify the waterways, you need Bureau of Reclamation's approval for that. And they put me in a 1-year waiting process to even review my plans. And so some of these things, you can't figure out, well, can I wait this out? It's hard to know whether you can wait things out or you have to go forward. You don't really know what's gonna happen after that year, waiting plan.
Well, I hope our process has been quicker.
Look,
A little, okay.
Mhm.
We'll take that. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Any discussion here? I would take a motion on this, and we'll have to make sure that it is contingent on ordinance number 7.
I move to approve resolution number 14, 2026, the Misano Boundary Line Adjustment Deviation Request contingent on the passage of ordinance 7, first reading Misano rezone, excuse me.
Second.
A motion and a second. Can we roll call this?
Mr. Cortez? Ms. Rowland?
Aye.
Mr. Ruff?
Aye.
Ms. Bowers?
Aye.
Mr. White?
Aye. Okay. Motion passes. Ordinance number 7, 2026, first reading for the Misano rezone.
Ordinance number 7, 2026, an ordinance of the city of Delta, Colorado, amending the zoning designation for a portion of property within the city of Delta identified as Delta County Parcel 3455202000005.
Thank you.
Sorry, I had to count the zeros.
Your time, Julie.
All right, Mike.
Thank you, council. Again, Mike Marcus, city planner. This is the rezoning portion related to the boundary adjustment, the 18 feet strip of property that's proposed to be transferred from the Misano property to the Smith Murphy property. Same property owner, same location. Based on review of the rezoning criteria and evidence and testimony presented at the July 6, 2026 Planning Commission public hearing, the Planning Commission recommends that the City Council approve the Misano Smith Murphy rezone request from the current zoning designation of A1 agricultural to R1 residential, subject to the following conditions. The rezoning is subject to and conditioned upon approval by the city of a boundary adjustment plat affecting the rezone area, and the rezoning shall become effective only upon recording of the city approved boundary adjustment plat. The review procedure for rezonings is included in your staff report. The subject request was referred to city and external review agencies. The city did not receive any comments regarding the request. The application was properly noticed. All public noticing requirements have been met. As a publication of the staff report, we did receive 3 public comments. 2 property owners expressed no opposition to the proposed rezone, and 1 property owner did express opposition. The criteria review for rezone applications is also included in your staff report. Those rezone criteria appear to be met subject to certain conditions. The Planning Commission, as I mentioned, held a public hearing on July 6, 2026. They reviewed the staff report, they heard the applicant presentation, and they made a motion to adopt Resolution 9/2026, approving the request to City Council, subject to the conditions as stated. The recommendations and actions to be taken for approval are listed in your staff report. And your packet includes ordinance 7/2026 for your consideration. Does anyone have any questions?
I do. I'm sorry, my links aren't working. What was the comment opposed? Was it literally just like, I'm opposed, or was there more?
You know,
Okay.
I certainly don't want to put words in as far as who expressed opposition, but if you read the letter, it appears to be just a concern about increased development as a whole in general at that location, and concerns about existing or using the fact that, you know, we're looking at a drought situation. Does the city have enough water to support additional development? So taken as a whole, I think it's just a concern about increased development in that area.
Can't open it. Is
You
it in
can't
the
open?
packet? Because it's not in the ordinance.
the-
Is it in the
Let's
staff?
take a look, probably in the staff report. Let's
It is.
take a look.
It linked from the staff report,
Well, whenever it goes to my link, it just,
but I don't have a link. I'm looking at the staff report and I don't see a link to the letter.
Let me just. Why can I not find the drive?
While they're looking for this, that concern came up when this Cherry Lane project was first proposed, and I want to say that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, the sketch plan for the Cherry Lane Townhomes
Click
Plan
on the
Unit
staff report
development
for the planning.
was
commission.
approved in 2021.
Yeah.
I believe some of those same concerns were brought forward at that time, so.
I recall the concern for water, I recall the concern for speed on Cherry Lane, and I recall a concern for traffic.
Correct.
And I recall that some of the decisions at that time, when it came to the POD, was that the density was conforming to
There it is.
that zoning, and that water was available for the development. And that the development would be participating in improvements in Cherry Lane.
Correct.
Katie, I'm not. There. Yeah, there definitely is a link.
yeah, it's just not opening. for
Yeah,
me.
Oh,
it
there's
takes
the link
you-
in the memo or?
It takes
Yeah.
you follow, these are
Right
these
here.
learning curves that we're having with
Staff
this new system. You have to follow the links into the planning commission folder. So
Yeah,
we'll work
got
on
it.
for
I
the
found the
future
letter.
to make that smoother.
I think it's just my phone.
No, it's not.
I have. the link.
So I'm clicking it and I say open link and it's going. Well,
When you
it's,
click on the link to the
and then. click
number
on the
7, then it
link.
opens it up. I've got the letter in front of me. If you want to read it.
Yeah, we can make that
That'd be great.
smoother in the future. Yeah, if you'll read.
You
it.
have the public comment letter?
Yeah, it's from Kelly Smith, manager of KD Investments. It says, please consider this rezoning application. This is oh, no, sorry, this isn't it.
That's the applicant.
I guess I don't have the letter. I have the whole packet. Where would it be in the
So if you
packet?
know and you can come help, that would be great. Okay, he's saying it's not in there.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I don't, it's not in that particular packet, because it's probably one that came in after this packet.
That's exactly right.
Oh,
Yep.
So it came in the day of the planning commission meeting, so it didn't make it into this packet, so it didn't get linked. in.
Correct.
So this is just first reading, so
Okay.
you can certainly make sure we have that and that you should absolutely review the public comments before voting on second reading, but I
Yeah.
think we could
We
proceed.
just want to give, if somebody took the time to write a comment, we want to give it
And
consideration.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and we'll look at this, again, with the system that we've adopted we'll work on smoothing that out when you need to look at a planning commission report too, so you don't have to click 10 times to get to where you need to go. We'll figure out how to smooth
It's
that
still
out.
much better than it was.
Mike, was that the
I mean,
one
we
and
had
only
paid
opposition to this?
$7.90, you
Agreed.
know, this is
Sure.
still
That
easier.
was- We can make it easier.
Okay, so we can just get it before the next reading.
That was my question, sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Again, we have representatives behind this ordinance. If you'd like to say anything, feel free. Now's your time. Okay.
Sorry. Do I need to state my name again?
Yes.
Do I need to state my name again?
Yes.
For the record,
Yes, you
For the
do.
record.
Kelly Smith, 1500 Cherry Lane, Delta, Colorado. So the only thing I would say that I would disagree, one thing Mike said is the comment that was made at the planning commission did not say water and development specifically in my area. It was really about the city as a whole. The comment was that the city doesn't have enough water to support development. It wasn't specifically aimed at my development and it wasn't our area.
Okay.
When you're talking about the comment, you're talking about the comment that was in opposition to it?
Yes,
Okay.
the letter you're looking for does not specifically name my development in my area.
Oh.
That's what I believe.
Okay, thank you for that information.
You agree?
She wanted a 5-year
moratorium.
It's because they can't see the recording, so.
I'm Denise Murphy. I live at 1500 Cherry Lane. The opposition letter, the person wanted a moratorium on development for 5 years in all of Delta. So.
Got it. Thank you.
But again, we'll make sure you have that so you can read it for yourself before a second reading.
Thank you for the clarification on that.
Do we have any special things we need to do with this approval?
No, I think if there's any discussion, we've already read the title.
Cross-reference is already in the ordinance here, so that's already taken care of.
Motion to approve ordinance number 7, 2026, first reading of the Masano rezone with conditions as noted.
Second.
Okay. Jolie?
Mr. Corthius, Ms. Rowland,
Aye.
Mr. Huff, Ms. Bowers, Mr. White.
Aye.
We just want to see the letter for that before second reading.
We can make that
And
happen.
we'll see
For the
letter before the
record.
second reading, yes. No opposed, motion passes. And that concludes ordinances and resolutions on our agenda tonight. City attorney comments?
No, thank you.
3 minutes, you have.
You have 3 minutes, Dave. We're not paying for them either. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
We'll
we.
make it.
That was a special inclusion.
Elise?
Just a couple things. Friday night is our employee barbecue picnic to celebrate the hard work of all of our departments and staff. 3 o'clock at Cleveland Park. You do not need to bring anything. I was asked that question, just your lovely selves and your family members if you would like to. And then September 11th, if you want to mark your calendars, I don't think I've gotten it on your calendar yet, but I will work on that, is the car show. So make sure you mark that down. It's another one of our great events. And I think that's the main things I had for my updates. Anyone, am I missing anything for anybody staff-wise? There you go.
Okay, great. Let's,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I was going to bring up the Montrose meeting. At the CML dinner, there was a conversation between Ron and I think maybe Katie and some of the Montrose team about some of what they are doing on an economic development front. Ron reached back out to Montrose and asked if they would, walk through some of what they've done historically, what's worked, what hasn't worked. We actually did the same thing for them today at Riverbend, about what we've been doing on the homeless side of things. So some joint learning happening back and forth. We have scheduled that meeting with them on August 31st from 2 to 4. Originally, I just put the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem on that invite list, but I've been asked to extend the invitation to all of you, which means we'll have to public notice the meeting. We are going to meet in Montrose at their city hall. And it really is for us to learn about everything they're doing. It's not just one program. They have multiple, including the Urban Renewal Authority. I think you'll find a lot of that conversation very interesting to some of our discussion we were having in the work session. If we can bring some of that up, but couple hours scheduled with Montrose. I'm not sure if it'll include going and seeing anything or if it will just all be at their facility, but they had offered to come here. But there's some other things happening in Montrose already that day, so it actually was easier for us to go to them than them come here, so. Yeah.
Thank you. What I'd like to do is insert here, before the council member comments, just a quick synopsis of any boards that we're all sitting on. So, Dan, are you sitting on any boards that you would have an update for? Janet?
I'm on boards, but I don't have any updates.
Robert?
Not at this time.
Katie?
Yes, I had 2 board meetings this week, but I will have them better prepared for next meeting.
Okay, fair enough. I will say for Project 7, there's been a lot of discussion on the expenses and sort of how we got to where we are right now with what was a $27 million investment in a design that doesn't look like it's going to go forward now. But that audit is going to be reviewed this Thursday. That is a public meeting, so anybody's welcome to look in on that. There's a lot going on there, just trying to regain some accountability in what happened. One Delta, I made a commitment, I think a week ago, to send you the strategic plan draft.
Okay.
And I might need a reminder because
Okay.
here it is a week later and it just dawned on me, I never sent you that. I'm going to distribute that, or have at least distribute that. And there's a lot of content. There's a lot of content, some great ideas, really focusing on some targeted industries and some strategies to get there. I think the document is just really well done, and I'm proud of what I'm seeing there. I think we've just made a tremendous amount of progress in just a few months. So there's a lot going on there, and I'll do my best to keep everybody in tune with that process. Council member comments. Dan, any words of wisdom tonight?
Just one that I had it's personal, but I had a surgery that kind of went bad and I'm still back and forth at the doctor. Hopefully make all the meetings, but I might miss one or two.
Should we see if Dave has malpractice experience?
I don't have any comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Janet.
No, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for being here. And be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated.
Indeed.
I'm just excited to celebrate with staff. They've worked really hard this year, and Friday's going to be really fun. So excited to see everyone.
Yeah, I think that's a great opportunity to do exactly that. With that, we can adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. We'll see you all back.
A motion to adjourn anymore?
We determined that.
We don't need it.
Yes, so-
I can just close the meeting.
You know, when you're like, was I dreaming?
I keep doing it that way, so it's just gonna default.
our dinner gonna be for, travels? What's the thing we went to CML? When's our-
So I got an email, Elise and I did today from CML
Yeah.
asking for it to be September 30th. You all kind of told me at the meeting that you guys wanted Cassie B, or I'm sorry, the Grove, yeah,
Yeah.
Cassie B's. And so I will reach out to her tomorrow to see if they are
Available.
available.
What dinner is this?
And then
That's
if
CML.
not, we'll have to
For
pick a
hosting?
separate
What?
location.
Oh, so the quarterly meeting,
Yeah, we're hosting
our district?
on a Wednesday. Okay, so that's the target date.
Yes, that is the target date.
Why look at the,
Number is filling up fast.